G'day guys, Tom here. Just showing you how to inspect a beehive and feeding them. First of all, a couple of safety tips. Never stand in front of the beehive unless you absolutely have to. Standing here, here and here are safe. The top box here has our honey super, and this is what we call bird comb. Beekeepers treat it like gold when they're getting the wax from the hives, because this can help, and it all adds up over the season when you're not getting it in. Now we'll take this box off and go into the to the brood chamber. Okay. Okay, this is the brood chamber. The very most important bee in this colony is the queen. I'm going to try and show you her today. As you can see, all this sticky stuff here is called propolis. They get that from the trees and other different places where it's either got sap or some type of sticky residue that's natural. I've also found that if you've got ants and that's a problem, put some cinnamon on top of your underboard and that helps to disattract them. Now this should be just either honey, as you can see right here, beautiful capped honey, or it should either be pollen, depending on the time of the year. Alright, that's a nice frame of honey. We could probably extract that at some point. Keeping in mind that as I'm pulling these frames out, I'm still looking for the queen, which is most likely to be into the centre of the frames. See here, we've got our nurse bees and pollen down here, and these nurse bees will be getting that and taking that into our brood, and I'll show you what the brood looks like in just a moment. This is honey again. We've got heaps of honey stores this year and heaps of pollen, which is good for just after winter, where they use it to feed their bees all throughout the year, and the more pollen stimulates the queen to lay more. Now here we've got the brood, the honey, and the cells with the eggs or larvae in. So this is getting into the brood side of things again. No queen so far. No queen. She usually likes to hang out on these second stories of the box here. I'm not sure why. I think it's just because of the heat, more heat there, and the bees come up there and she feels a bit more relaxed, I suppose. It's about time for us to harvest, so probably my next video will be on harvesting. Now I'll show you a varroa strip. We had a little bit of a varroa problem. There's a bit of brood there. Varroa strip there, can you see it? And then there's your honey again. There's your bra strip again. Also, I'd like to dedicate this movie to all those new beekeepers out there, and I'd like to thank my sister for being the camera operator. She helps. We'll add these back in. It's important also when you're inspecting these hives not to take it from the middle of the frame, because I know this might sound a bit strange, but you don't want to find the queen on the very first pull. Now if you do, it's okay. It's just safer if you find her in the middle of the comb. Reason being is sometimes when beekeepers pull it up and those beekeepers haven't been there a while and they've drawn the comb out to such an extent where there's hardly any room, as you're pulling it out, you're rubbing up against the other part of the frame, and this could potentially damage or even harm the queen, and that's one thing we don't want. Okay. Okay, that's a fragile frame. Right, I might pause it since you've already seen the... Right, now this is a frame I kept in here from when I was doing my queen rearing. Here you can see the queen cells, and this is just an ordinary honey frame. And I just keep them in there because the bees polish them, and that way next year they'll have more chance of accepting them because they've got the natural smell to them. There's a bit of pollen on there as well. And as you can see, there's roughly 10 cells on here. I'm pretty sure the queen will be on these bottom frames unless I've missed her. Now in here you've got the pollen, as you can see, come up close. There's a bit of honey there, and there's honey, pollen in that one. Yeah. This is a better one actually, it's got heaps of pollen on it. All that pollen in there, there's a bit of honey there, and just there is a pollen cell. Okay. Also, if you're a keen beekeeper like me, I started off going to clubs, and they're really helpful because they give you tips, advice, and there's about heaps of other different beekeepers there that you can chat along with. It's really great fun. Hey guys, on that last clip, I showed you how to inspect Beehive. Now I'm going to show you how to feed them. Now there's many types of different ways of feeding them. Over there I've got a frame feeder, which is basically a plastic cubic, I don't know, super that you put in, fill it up with sugar syrup, 1 to 1, 2 to 1. That's the ratios there of the thickness and consistency of the sugar syrup. And put it in. I like to put a paper towel on top, so then that way when the bees, they can suck it through the paper towel but they don't drown. And yeah, so this way it's not winter yet, it's mid-autumn, so I'm gonna put these branches on, or flat planks as you want to call them. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm doing them very gently, just to stop me from crushing these girls down here. Because the less I crush, I think the more you have in winter. And that little bit counts. Right, now it's time to put your sugar syrup on. Slowly slide it on, making sure that those girls have enough time to get away. As you can see, I'm not crushing any. And I'm making sure that this is all flat and securely on. Otherwise, if this tips over while you're not here and it smothers all the bees, there's a possibility of drowning them. You can chill them because they're cold, and yeah, it's just not good for the hive. Sometimes your frames go mouldy. I've seen that in previous experiences. Now what you want to do is come over here. We've got a nice super that I set up a couple of weeks ago. I want to place this over the top, making sure that that feeder doesn't exceed the height of the super. If it does, the lid will not be able to be put on properly. Right. If you can see, there's one already climbing up. She'll get straight into that. Take it down into the frames and put it into the cells, and they will fan it, and they will, I don't know how would you put it, dehydrate it, make it more thicker. Now, honey is basically made up of flower nectar. All honey is flower nectar dehydrated into a thick syrup. Right, now what you got to do now, let's put on the top board, the underboard, and then the top board, or the roof. You can get different types. You can get ones that are made out of wood with galvanized lids on top. I prefer them.